Performers who live in Penang. And if you call us entertainers, you would not be so wrong. It's part and parcel of our makeup, please do say.
Welcome back to another podcast for Penang Heritage Art Festival. I'm your host Suhani, and with me we have Mable. So why don't we start this podcast by knowing a little bit about yourself?
Hi, my name is Mable. Usually how I introduce myself is I would say I'm a musician because I do multiple facades in music. I'm a music teacher. I'm a pianist myself and also vocalist as well as a composer. So I would say I'm a musician.
So why don't you share a bit about your musical journey so far?
My musical journey has been quite interesting. Definitely there's always ups and downs and everything. I started off as a music teacher, but before I started teaching, there was a short span of time where I was working in a recording studio. I was training under Dr. Fong, who's my coach as well. And as a sound engineer, I was working at his studio. And after that, I went on to teach music. Then after a few years ago, maybe I should explore more. And that's when I went into performing. And I'm gonna say that is something really challenging as a performer because there's so much things to focus on. And sometimes we think that we have known so much and learned so much. But no, I think until today, I'm still constantly learning a lot of things. And especially with my new bandmates, and they have been really kind and very patient with me, and I've learned so much until this day. And as a vocalist, it is something new for me to be in the front stage and all that. So yeah, it has been exciting and fun, and I think this is going to be a great journey ahead too.
So is this your first time taking part in an event like this, or have you participated in other events before?
Events meaning like festivals and things like that. I have performed in other festivals too. I think one of the biggest one that just stuck to me is the Penang Island Jazz Festival that they hold every year, which my band leader, he was part of it as well. But unfortunately, it has stopped on the year 2017, and that was the last year. And I think what I heard is because of lack of funds and things like that. But I think something so beautiful and such a great effort kind of festival that represents Penang and where international artists that comes, I think, we should work harder and to have more support from various parties to have things like that in such a beautiful island like Penang.
True. So how did you get involved with the Malaysian music Reimagine and the Rentak Jazz?
How I got involved? I'm with the band called NJU, Northern Jazz Unit, and the band leader Jerome, he's one of the organizers for this the Heritage Arts Festival too. So that's how he incorporate plans and programs into this.
So why don't you tell a bit more about the Malaysian music Reimagined?
When I heard of the title Malaysia Music Reimagined, I had a rehearsal with them just last week. At first I was thinking how are they gonna go about this, heritage, jazz and Malaysian music, but it has been quite interesting. A lot of the arrangements are quite unexpected. It's a very nice mix of the traditional scales in the music and also some jazz harmonies and all that. So it has been quite interesting, although I find it quite hard to adjust at times. But like what I say, learning is a lifelong journey, but it has been quite fruitful, I would say.
Now, as a musician, this next question is going to be a bit difficult for you. Why can you share with us one song that's your favorite and why?
One favorite song in general? Like,
Any one, top of your head.
oh gosh, this is gonna be hard. Okay. Okay, if you say song, it's gonna be difficult because I would say I'm an instrumentalist first. So when you say songs, it involves lyrics. So I'm always a tune person first. So what captures me most is the beautiful harmonies and tunes that captures me first. So if you say any song in particular, I can't think any at the moment. But yeah, anything with beautiful tune and rich harmonies, I would say.
Is there any particular artist that you feel does this with the music?
Oh, okay. I think one of my inspiration would be Jacob Collier. I'm not sure if you've heard of him. He's very experimental, I would say, and he likes to work a lot with voice and harmonies and things like that. So I would say that, yeah, he inspires me. Yeah, I think that guy.
Now, jazz and improvised music rely heavily on trust. So how do you communicate with your bandmates while performing without saying a word? Like to get in sync?
Okay. So this is the interesting part. I think it relies a lot on eye contact. So we always have to look at each other and of course with the hands and things like that. So, but also because there are times that we try to make a point to have an arrangement of the songs. So a lot of times it's mostly rehearsed. But with jazz, like what you say, a lot of things are impromptu. So I guess, a lot of chemistry that we have to get used to each other's timing and all that. But overall, I guess would be eye contact and, the hands,
So if you don't look at the other person, then you just get out of sync.
I think it's mostly like how we finish the songs and certain pauses. That would be the eye contact. But other than that, we just keep in time with the music as a team. That's basically that.
So artists like Ramlee and Jimmy Boyle have paved the way for Malaysian music, right? So when you're singing songs like the Gataran Jiwa or other Boyle classics, do you prefer to keep it original or do you take it as an opportunity to improvise it with jazz?
Well, that's something to think about. I would say I would listen to the original first and to see what the composers are actually trying to portray first. And after that, I'll start going on a frenzy, listen to different versions and things like that. But I like to be experimental. I like what I say, rich harmonies and things like that. So I do explore in other direction, so that we can explore more in the creative side, but at the same time not lose the essence of what the composer has written. Yeah.
You like to keep the soul of the music intact, but still give a touch of yourself in it.
Yes. So there's a balance to that. Yeah, that's right.
Now, jazz is playing in a jazz orchestra must be a very amazing experience. So how do you find your space, your element when playing with other members in the orchestra?
Okay. Performing with a jazz orchestra or a big band or something like that, this is my first experience, I would say. From the other day's rehearsal, I find it quite interesting because it's quite inspiring to see, different talents on stage as well, and in the rehearsal room where they put so much effort. And it's definitely different singing with a jazz band and versus a big band where there's other brass instruments. I would say it's just another experience for me, and it has been quite nice because the rich sounds coming from all the brass instruments, that reverberation is really nice.
You can feel it in your bones.
Yeah, it's very different from a combo band. Yeah, but they are all different. So yeah, it has been amazing.
Is there a song from this program, in this event, that has challenged your perception on what an Malaysian folk music should sound like?
Let's see. We have done quite a number of Malaysian folk songs. But if you say challenge my perception, not so, but I guess it helps me to have a different perspective in how you can reimagine a song that has sung for such a long time, from our primary school days, from kids days and all that. I think it keeps the tradition going on, the heritage of the music, but at the same time it gives a fresh taste and sound to it. So yeah, that's how it has changed my perspective in that sense. Yeah.
So this program features a variety combination of ensemble. So how does the energy in the room shift when your group is playing a small combo versus when it's a full-blown orchestra?
I guess in a different setting, this is a challenge because I have to learn how to adjust according to a different combination. So of course with the jazz combo, the jazz band settings, something I'm already used to right now. But with the big band, it's something I have to adjust. And one of the things, another program that we're gonna do is just a duo. That would be the pianist and myself, and that's another adjustment. So yeah, did I answer your question?
You can go ahead. You can just elaborate a bit.
So yeah, all different combinations require a lot of changes and how I express the music. It may seem like I'm just singing the same tune, but with different combination of instruments, I have to think of how I phrase certain parts, how do I pull and push certain parts, and yeah, so I think that's my focus at this point for something like that.
Now, in songs like Gataran Jiwa or Ikan Keke, which have deeply embedded what Malaysian music is all about, so how do you ensure that the emotional storytelling of the lyrics remains intact when you're improvising with jazz?
I think in this case, the lyrics is really important, the phrases and all that, how certain words are emphasized or how certain words are lengthened and pulled. Yeah, that would be how the message can get across to the audience or the listeners. Yeah.
All right. So before we end the podcast, would you like to tell our audience when your event is and how can they buy the tickets?
The event is from the 1st to the 10th of May, and I'll be performing on the 2nd and the 9th. And of course, there's a lot of amazing programs and performances along the way. You can get your tickets on the Cloud Joy, and it's very simple. You can follow the Penang Heritage Arts Festival page or also the NJU page that you have more information on that. So
I'm sure the audience will be waiting to see you perform live.
I hope so too. I think this is a very good opportunity for people to keep music alive and also heritage in arts and all that as well.
So if you'd like to give one message to the audience on why they should come and see you perform something like a jazz, what would you say?
First thing first, I would say if you're Malaysian, come. If you're not Malaysian, come too, because it's a great experience for something so amazing. And then, the organizers have put so much effort, the musicians have put so much effort. Please come, and I'm sure you will not regret it.
All right. Thank you for joining us today. It was wonderful talking to you.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
So that's all for our podcast. See you in the next one. Thank you.